What's going on, guys? Alright, today's going to be my Feral PvP guide for 6.2.2. It's going to be my first ever guide, so please feel free to go down in the comments, do your criticism, do your crazy stuff. Let me know what you like and don't like about the guide. Pretty please. Alright, on that note, off to the fun. First off, I'm going to start with some of my keybinds and the way that I kind of have things set up. I have a Logitech G600 mouse that I use with 12 buttons on the side, just like a Razer Naga. And the way that I have things set up is a little bit crazy. It's kind of ridiculous. But it doesn't afford for modding your macros. And I'll get into some of the macros here shortly. It's for anybody who doesn't really understand macros. But essentially, if you look at my mouse and you turn it sideways in front of you, you have the top left corner button, the bottom right corner button. These match my mouse if you hold it sideways. This is 1 through 12, this is Shift 1 through 12, and this is Control 1 through 12. These here are actually bound to, the G600 has another button on the right side for your ring finger, and that is actually, bound to my Hellstones on this character. This is bound to my middle mouse button. And again, I'll get into some of the macros and why I have so much duplicate stuff here shortly. First thing, I'm going to just go right into my talents here. If you look at it, I run Wild Charge as Feral. I don't really think that Displacer Beast, because of the long cooldown, is going to help you chase somebody down, get to anybody. And the constant movement speed increased by 15% is not enough for your on-demand times where that healer blinks away from you. You need to be able to blink to get to him. So Wild Charge seems to be the best one. Also, Wild Charge is nice because if you macro it right, you can use your non-shape-shifted and bounce to a friendly player to get yourself out of damage. It's just as good as a priest leaping you out. Second tier, your level 30 talents, I go with Ysera's Gift. Because of the scaling with gear and everything, Cenarian War doesn't have enough kick to keep you going. Ysera's Gift, with the constant just ticking away at you, it's a nice constant heal for you and your party. It's pretty phenomenal. I've not played with Renewal much, but the 2-minute cooldown is just too much for arenas for me. And honestly, I'm too impatient. So Battlegrounds, it's too much for me. So 15 and 30 level talents, pretty much set on those. I don't ever change those. My 45 talents, that changes constantly. If I'm in an arena and it's TSG and I've got double melees and I know they're just going to be training my healer or training me to try and take me down, I'm going to run my Mass Entanglement, try and keep them in one place for as long as I can, get those guys pissed off. Now when I go against a rogue or another feral, or actually most of the time in arenas, I run Fairy Swarm. Keeps them from going invisible and slows them down by 50%. That's the key. When I'm running down a Resto Druid and I want to get his ass and I just can't keep up with him. We all know that feeling where you're just on him, and can't get him. That right there, that little bit is huge. Typhoon, if you're running Nagrin Arena, mandatory. Blow their asses off the bridge, reset, keep going. Also, Eye of the Storm, the Lumber Mill at Arathi Basin. It's just too much fun to not use it. I've been doing a lot of Battlegrounds lately, which is why Typhoon is up right now. For your tier 60 talents, Force of Nature, it doesn't have the kick that I need. Plus, I love the stuns from Incarnation. I can get 3 guys against me, pop Incarnation, go invis, stun one of them with this, bash the next one, stun another one, and I can get clones, and I can just keep constant control of 3 guys for the most part, barring trinkets with that. So I'm not even going to talk about the other 2 tiers, or the other 2 talents on this one. Go with Incarnation. If you don't, you're crazy. I can see some use to these, but this isn't going to help you in PvP. 75 talents. Ursul's Vortex, I know some people use them for rated Battlegrounds. I never touch it. Ever. Absolutely never use it. Mighty Bash is on the 50-second cooldown, and it's a solid stun. You catch a healer with a Mighty Bash, your Bash clone combo is great. Now, with that said, if you're running with somebody who has DR on the same thing, you're running with a paladin who's, going to go running around fisting people, you're going to want to run Incapacitating Roar. It's awesome. It's a shorter cooldown. It's great, but it's not going to help you against a warrior. A warrior is going to just pop right through that. A DK is going to pop right through that. So if you're running TSG, this is an absolute waste. Even if you have somebody you're going to DR with, go with Mighty Bash. It's going to help you there. Your level 90 talents, again, I don't really see any use for Dream of Cenarius because I'm not a healer. I know that it can help some other people and be great, but it's not my main task. So, and yeah, it's not really going to help me that much. Heart of the Wild dramatically improves your ability to tank, cast spells, and heal. Well, I don't tank and I don't cast that much, and again, I'm not the healer. So I'm going to go with Nature's Vigil, which is going to let me just keep putting pressure on people, get healing back from that. That healing that I get back is a lot bigger than people think. You don't realize how much damage you do until you start seeing your health bumping up 20k at a time. And you're going, wow, how am I doing this? That's your Nature's Vigil. It's fantastic. And then for your level 100 talents, if you're doing PvP, it's Claws of Shivara. Don't even acknowledge these. If Blood Talons, I can see that you're going to want to get the extra damage, but you're not casting Healing Touch that often, I hope. It might be worth for some people to try PvE. It might be worth it because you have a lot more control. You can time things. You can keep on it. The time that it takes me to get 5 combo points after my opener is so long that my healing touches don't happen that often because I'm only using my instants. And then Lunar Inspiration. I'm not going to use Moonfire in cat form. There's a reason I'm in cat form, and that's to tear shit apart with my claws of badassness. So, I'm not Lunar. I'm not going to act like I am. Alright, on to glyphs. I pretty much run this setup 99% of the time. And there's actually a glyph that I want that I don't have, which is the Skull Bash, and I need to get that one. But, for the most part, I always have Glyph of 9th Life on. It never leaves. It stays on. I'm in cat form all the time. I want to reduce the damage by 10%. I'm going to use it. Glyph of Dash cuts my cooldown on Dash by 60 seconds. That means it's only on a 2-minute cooldown instead of 3-minute cooldown. That's the difference between me catching the guy and killing him or not catching him and killing him. So, no question on that. And it's a 15-second run. I mean, you figure, it's not a 2-minute cooldown. It's a minute 45 because you got 15 seconds of you just running balls to the wall. I cheat and I use Glyph of Savage Roar. This is the one that you can change in and out, in my opinion. Whenever you rake or shred from Prowl, it's going to automatically put Savage Roar up. That opener, that just absolute pressure that Ferals can put on because they open so hard on people, a lot of it comes from this glyph. Soon as I hit you, I have Savage Roar up. That's huge. Savage Roar is a 40% increase in damage for 42 seconds when it's put on with 5-point combo points. I don't want to waste the combo points to do that unless I have to. So when I come out and I just get that right off the bat, bam, I'm happy as a cloud. I come out, I get 2 rotations of 5 combo points on you, you're hurting right off the bat. It's going to change a lot of stuff. Other ones, Glyph of Cyclone, it's going to make your Cyclones go a lot farther. Glyph of Dash, we already talked about. Tangling Roots reduces your cast time of Roots. Honestly, I don't cast Roots enough. I use it on the instant when I can, but that's about the extent of it for me. I'm a bad person. This should be part of your normal routine, so that may be good for you. If you can replace Savage Roar with Entangling Roots and get some more roots up for that TSG comp, we all know that a warrior is useless when he's rooted. He has no way to break roots. Hit him with this. Keep him out of the game as long as you can. Increase the range of my Fairy Fire by 10 yards. I haven't really had an issue with getting Fairy Fire on people. They don't expect Druids to put it on for some reason. They forget that we have it, which is great. So, I don't use that one, but it's there. Now, when you're running solo, you don't have a group with you, anything like that. You're in Battlegrounds, you think you're going to be alone a lot. Ferocious Bite Heal. That's actually a lot of damage. I mean, it's a lot of damage, and it's a decent amount of healing. It's good for soloing, running around like that. I don't worry about the damage of Maim. I use it as an oh shit stun. If I need that clutch last stun to let my buddy finish killing something on a healer or something like that, that's when I'm going to use Maim. But for the most part, I don't use it to count on damage. But it does hurt him. I'll give him that. 9th Life we've already talked about. Increase the range of Rake. a lot of people like this because it makes their opener come from a little bit further away. Gives you more of a roguey feel. You can get that initial stun on him and finish closing the gap. Savage Roar here. I have Savage Roar up here. Savagery is always active, but it's only 30%. Now that's great. If you're just starting Feral, use this. It's fine. Start off with it. I don't recommend keeping it there, and I'm more of a practice what you're going to end up using, but if you need to do this to be able to keep up your Savage Roar because you have no other way, then there you go. Survival Instincts reduces the cooldown of it by 40 seconds, but reduces its duration by 50%. That is not worth it to me in the battlegrounds and whatnot that I do, because being a druid, you get trained. You get hammered. We're squishy. Unless you have Survival Instincts up, people know it. They're going to want to hammer on you. So, Survival Instincts being 6 seconds, that's key there. Again, Skull Bash, I wish I had it because it quiets them down longer. As long as you land that, it's huge. Especially considering that our bonus, our gear set bonus, anytime you land a Skull Bash, is going to give you a free Tiger's Fury. It's going to reset your cooldown. So you open on him. You Tiger's Fury. You hit him with a huge rip. You stack 5 more combo points. You hit him with a huge Ferocious Bite. You Skull Bash him. You reset Tiger's Fury, and you get him with another huge Ferocious Bite. Most of the time, they're going to be under a third of the health at that point. If especially you're running with a warrior, he's going to come in, he's going to execute. GG. Everybody's happy. And now we're down into that. As far as your minor glyphs, nothing really matters. I like the way that the pretty cheetah looks, so I run the cheetah. And reduce falling when not in cat form. Remember that. When you're jumping off a cliff, somebody blows you off the cliff in Lumber Mill, this can actually save your life if you remember to get out of cat form in time. That's the key with that one. Alright. Now, as far as your basic, what you're going to do, I love the way that they've changed the spell books, man. Where you get in here and you just, everything's so right in front of you anymore. Nice little explanations. For a new guy, that's going to be awesome. It's going to make your life easier. So let's just go through some of your stuff. Berserk. Reduces the cost of all cat form abilities by 50%. If you're a PvE guy, you wish this was a 5-second cooldown. Being on a Feral in PvP, you really wish this was a 5-second cooldown. You're always going to have energy problems. It's gonna be part of it. That's how they control our damage. That's how we don't just blow everything up every time and just spam through. We're not a spam, we're utility as well. I mean, we have Cyclones, we have Bashes, we have Maim, we have Roots, we have Heals. We've got everything. Feral Druid is got every possible setup you could want, with the exception of a free breaking of fear and stuff like that. So, that's all I gotta say about that. Let's see. Fairy Fire we talked about. Ferocious Bite. 5 combo points. Smack them in the face. GG. Good game, guys. I'm gonna actually jump back out of this. I got a little ahead of myself here. I got a little too excited. But we're just gonna go right here. Rake. Keep it applied to the target. Keep a bleed up. If you have a bleed, it needs to be on them. Shred, you're going to use this over and over. This is going to be your spammer. This is going to be your used over and over again. That's going to build your combo points. Savage Roar we started talking about. If you don't have it up, get it up. Rip, always your main priority. You hit Rake to get a bleed on them. Then you hit Shred to build combo points to get Savage Roar up. If you have Savage Roar up, then Rip is your number one. Rip is this huge bleed that is just going to tick and tick and tick and piss them off so incredibly bad. Ferocious Bite. When you have Rip on them, when you have Rake on them, you got 5 combo points. Savage Roar still at 30 seconds. Hit them with a Ferocious Bite. Piss them off. Make them go, oh my god, Druids are OP. That's what we want them to say. We want them to say that Druids are OP. So a basic opener is going to look something like this. You're going to prowl. Now, a lot of guys, as soon as they start, they're going to hit Wild Charge right off the bat to get behind the target and all that. I do not agree with that. I think that is an absolute terrible idea. I think that I want to get behind you. I am sneaky right now. Why am I going to use this to close the gap? I want you to, if you're going against the Druid healer, and this is him. You come up, you open him, and he blinks away, and you just use Wild Charge to get to him to start doing it because you couldn't wait 2 more seconds to catch him. Now he's gone. He's done. He has your moves. He can outrun you. He can play with you. He can bear from you, and he's going to break roots just as easy as you are. So don't open with Wild Charge. Pretty please don't open with Wild Charge. But whenever you do go up, so you're going to open up on him. You come up, you're going to start with Rake, and then Shred. Now I'm prowling, so it's going to give me my Savage Roar. Remember that. Also, Rake, whenever you're in stealth, Rake is going to stun them. Watch. Rake stun. Right off the bat, Rake gives you a free stun. That's way better than a lot of people think it is. Use it as an interrupt. Use it to stop a healer from casting. Stop the healer. Slow him down. Piss him off. I mean, I'll go up on a healer and, I'll come up to him. Come up. I'll hit him with my Rake. And then Shred. And then usually you're out of energy here. You'll Tiger's Fury. And then you're going to rip. What you're doing is you're snapshotting. WoW has been so nice to let us snapshot. Tiger's Fury comes up. Look at the damage just my rip is doing. 32. It was 32, 50. All that under my Tiger's Fury. That is huge damage. 32,000. It doesn't seem like much, but his life is just ticking away right now. It's coming off of him quick. So you've got all that up. You've got your rip up. I gotta refresh my Rake. Rake's refreshed. Alright, now what? Bam! Hit him with the big Ferocious Bite. 137k Ferocious Bite on 5 points. Now, just to clarify, I am in the process of trying a bunch of different stuff with my ferals, so I apologize if my accuracy is not 100% on my stats. But the way that I have my stats set up is I run Mastery as my number 2. Versatility is always your number 1 as feral. Remember that. We don't have the armor in kitty form. We don't have the way to avoid damage, so versatility is going to be huge there. Plus, it gives you a damage buff. It is, 20% versatility increases all my damage done by 20% and reduces damage taken by 10%. That's a lot. That may not seem like it, but that is a lot. So, versatility is your number 1. Next is Mastery. Increases the damage done by my bleed abilities. The reason that I'm doing the Mastery build is because I like watching Rip kill them for me. How many times have you had a hunter almost dead and he hit deterrence? If he does deterrence while I have Rip up on him, it doesn't matter. He is going to die underneath of it. He's at 20% and he waited too long. Guess what, buddy? Tick, 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 boom, you're done. 1 stun on your healer and I'll just watch you bleed to death underneath it. That makes me happy. I like that. I run a lot of comps where I'll spread my Rip out at the beginning of the match. It's a really nice pressure that you wouldn't get otherwise. I run with a Shadow Priest a lot, which isn't a real good comp. I run Monk, Shadow Priest, Feral. It's a lot of fun to play, but it's not a very efficient comp. What that's going to do is he's going to dot stuff, I'm going to rip stuff, and then we're going to pick a focus target. And we all know what Shadow Priests are doing. They're blowing it up. They're absolutely insane in PvP right now. They've been able to just kill stuff. I'm not going to say they're top damage or anything like that. They're definitely not a Destro lock, but they're going to make them hurt. If you're running with a Destro lock in 3s, I don't know that it's a viable comp either, but it would be a lot of fun. An Affliction lock, you're spreading your dots out. That's a lot of bleed damage. Plus, once you got them bleeding, you got your combo points, everybody's bleeding, that guy's getting a little close, you're going to Cyclone the healer real quick, and then you're going to hit him with a giant 100k Ferocious Bite, and your life just got way better because you know that you just owned that by spreading bleeds, and it wasn't active stuff. Plus, with Rip Up, you know that you're hurting them. You're going to be more apt to send your CCs out. You're going to do some of the CCs that you might have otherwise overlooked and been a little bit noob at. This is a beginner's guide. This is not meant for the top tier feral guides. This is not you guys that are the elitists. This is just me showing points to guys that are new to feral. Get them started, get them going. So, Incarnation, which is one of the talents I know that I made a big deal about. When you pop Incarnation, it makes you look stupid. Watch. I look like a retard, but I've got 30 seconds of this, which means I can be mid-combat, and boom, I can prowl again. Also, every time that I hit Shred while I'm in Incarnation, whether I'm sneaky or not, it applies the stun. That's a stun. I just stunned 4 guys that fast. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, waiting on energy. Bam. 4 guys are all stunned right there for, not long, but they're stunned. You just stopped their pressure. That's huge there. Also, again, it's good for disappearing. You be hitting them, rocking and rolling on them, all that jazz. It's down now, but you hitting them, you go, you stun them, and you start running. And then you can, boom, go sneaky, keep running away, get away from them, get out of the pressure. It gives you another tool. Also, whenever you use 5 combo points, you get an instant taunt, rebirth, which doesn't matter in arenas. But the big things are you get an instant healing touch and an instant roots. This is a warrior. I root him. He's useless right now. For 6 seconds, that warrior is not moving unless you touch him and tell him he can move. Watch the dots with other players on your team, but for the most part, that's going to be an enormous benefit to you. Another thing that is going to separate the boys from the men, remove corruption. Take the corruption off yourself. Don't make your healer do it. If you have something on you, get it off. Don't leave all that stuff for your healer. That's another cooldown where your healer could have popped a heal on you, could have helped you out, could have made your life a little bit better there. So you do that if you can. If you can catch it, if you're that masterful, if you're playing against a troll and you're berserking, or a warrior and he does his berserker rage to get out of a fear, soothe it. Take that enrage effect off of him. Bring him back down to your level. Don't let him go insane on you. That's a tough one to try and keep up. Alright, and that's about it for the moves there. Alright, I'm going to get into some of the macros. I have, because of my crazy keybinds, I have some crazy macros. So I run a mod macro for my forms. So if I hit control, it's going to put me in travel form. If I hit shift, it's going to put me in cat form. And if I just hit it, it's going to put me in bear form. So all it is /cast and then bracket, mod, control, close bracket, travel form, and then in parentheses shape-shifted. And then you're going to go on to the next one. You're just going to do that through. That's how you do a mod macro. That does not work with my bindings. You cannot do that the way that I have it keybound. Why? Because shift is used elsewhere. Control is used elsewhere. So if it's in my control bracket, I can't hit it unless I'm hitting control. So it doesn't help me. So keep that in mind if you decide to bind the way that I do. You end up having to have more crap on your bars than you really wanted to. One of my favorite macros is, let's see if he's considered a friendly target. Okay. Is my wild charge macro. If I hit my middle mouse button, it's going to charge to that guy. Now, what I can do is I can hit shift and my middle mouse button, and it's going to take me out of form because I mod shift cat form. And then if I hit it again, it'll take me to my target because I'm in my no form. That's awesome. It's a great way to get out of it. And then I can hit shift and hit my middle mouse button again. It puts me back in cat form. Also, let's see here. I have my general. Now, I don't run because I can't mod. I have different slots for different people. So, this one here, it just heals me. That's all it does. So, I hit that. Ta-da! I healed myself. Now, what's nice is I've got, I run with a guy named Payson. This is his slot here. He was my party 3 last time I was in an arena. And then let's see. Galvic was in party 2 last time we were in. Here's my party 2 up here. So running that kind of gives me a way around things. It lets me keep my key bindings, I guess. One of your biggest things is going to be a focus target macro. All you're going to do is show tooltip, whatever the spell is. This is going to be a mighty bash in this case. /cast, bracket, target equals focus, close bracket, mighty bash. That way, I can set this boy as my focus target. I can be hitting this old guy here. I'm going to town on him, going on town on him, without changing targets, without switching over to that guy's target. I can just hit this, and it hits my focus target. Another huge one, this is probably the most important focus macro for druids, is I'm wailing away, is my cyclone macro. I hit shift, or I hit this button here, and it sends it to my focus target. If you're in an arena and you don't have a focus target up, you are wrong. Period. No questions about it. You are incredibly just wrong. Another one of my macros that I use a lot. All this does is breaks root. /cast cat form, which essentially when you type in /cast cat form and you're already in cat form, it puts you in no form. Also, you hit it again, it puts you back into cat form. Well, if you do that twice and you're running and a mage roots you, you just hit it one time and look how fast he switches. Now just beware and pay attention, because when you do that, sometimes they'll catch you in between forms. That's going to be a huge, huge thing for you. Just boom, I'm not rooted. Boom, I'm not rooted. Oh, you rooted me. Boom, I'm not rooted again. Boom, you rooted me, not rooted. It's that fast. It's that easy. And if you do it right, it's fantastic. Another thing that separates the boys from the men is do not be selfish with Stampeding Roar. If you are running with a warrior and he gets rooted, we already discussed what happens to a rooted warrior. He is rooted. He can't do anything. You pop Stampeding Roar whenever you're near that warrior, boom, he's out of his roots. I know it doesn't show because this is an enemy target, but you want to use that to help get your partner out of the roots. You know, share the love that you got. You are Druid, man. You have so many fun techniques and tips that you can do that it's just going to change your life. Let's see here. That's it for the macros. I don't run a whole lot of macros because of my key bindings. Let's see, on to add-ons. Let's see, what add-ons do I run? I run Autoholic because I have multiple different characters on different servers. It lets me just track my gear and stuff. Lets me track what I have in my bags. Very important to me. The way that I make my bars look like this, got this stuff out the side, make these real little, you know, move the micro menu, make these as big as they are. I do all that through Bartender. Very, very light add-on, very easy to use. I'm not going to get into how to adjust any of these add-ons. If you guys want that, send me a message and I can do an add-on video for you guys. Battleground targets, I cannot say enough about it. It is fan-freaking-tastic. It puts, just like your raid emblem over here, it puts a bunch of boxes over here which tells you what's on the enemy team. It shows you who has the flag, it shows you health, and it shows you who the healers are. That is fantastic. That will change your life. Let's see here. For PvP, if you want to track your dots, you can use ellipses. I've just learned to watch for it, so I don't use ellipses for dot tracking anymore. But for a Warlock, good luck not doing it. You're going to need it if you're tracking more than two. Gladiator Losa, all it does is in the background in my ear, it screams what they're doing. If somebody's casting Cyclone, it tells me. If somebody's going to, you know, if, like we were saying, you want to learn how to use Soothe, you can't follow when a warrior does Berserker Rage. But if you have Gladiator Losa, it says Berserker Rage, you can walk over, take it off them. Gladius is going to be a raid frame that you use over here in arenas. It's going to just give you nice big brackets. It's going to give you nice big cast bars. That's what's nice. It's going to let you know when the trinkets are up. If you use Gladius EX, which is what I'm actually using now instead of Gladius, it gives you all the DRs. So Cyclone, you're only going to get a half Cyclone now, and it tells you how long until it's a full Cyclone again. Quarter Cyclone, no Cyclone. It's going to tell you all that stuff as well as when they use their trinkets. Handy Notes and Healbot I don't actually use for PvP whatsoever. Quartz is my modular casting bar. So you see me cast that there. It just makes it a pretty one like that. Also, if I set myself as my focus target, this character is apparently not set up right, but I usually have on my warrior, there's a cast bar about this big right here. It's huge, and it just, here you go, Cyclone. That way I can watch my focus targets and see what they do the best. Recount just watches your damage. I don't actually use it that much. Scrap just sells stuff for you. As soon as you go to the vendor, it automatically sells all the gray stuff, and you can set that to automatically sell different things. Sexy Maps is what gives me this nice sexy map up here. Tidy Plates is my unit frames right here. All that up top. Very, very, very wonderful to me. I love it. It's fantastic. I can't live without it. And the main reason I can't live without it is that right there. Those combo points, I can't keep track of how many combo points I have this way. I'm terrible. I'm bad. I'm ADD. I'm OCD. I'm a hyperactive, hypoglycemic. I'm a hyper. I just can't help myself. Now I wanted a big life bar because I'm ADD and because I like Ooh Shiny. I wanted a big health bar for me to watch. So I went with Ghetto Frames by Ghetto Boy. This is not updated. It's going to say out of date if you download it. Just all you got to do, load out of date add-ons and it'll load up for you. So that's a phenomenal add-on there. And I think that's about all I'm going to get into now. If you guys want any more, let me know. Shoot me a message here. Or come check out the stream. Compact Fat Man. And should be fun, man. Come see me. And my whole theory in life is let's do something funny. So come do something funny with me over at Twitch at Compact Fat Man. And y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.